The purchasing chessboard can turn procurement into the most exciting place to be in a company. Before we get into the weeds of the purchasing chessboard, let's start with why. Why should you bother with a rather complex framework of 64 methods? After watching this video, which is the first session of the chessboard masterclass, you should be clear that the chessboard is the key vehicle of making everything more exciting. Let's get started. Here's a true story from a big company in the high-tech space. At that company, it is customary to expect year-over-year cost down of 5%. And here's how the internal negotiation went before the introduction of the purchasing chessboard. In the planning meeting for the next year, the CPO asks a director to reduce cost by 5%. The director pushes back, citing all kinds of reasons. The boss insists, and after a lot of back and forth and some mild arm twisting, they settle on the 5%. After introduction of the chessboard, things go a bit differently. The CPO still asks for 5% cost down, but now the director feels emboldened by the purchasing chessboard. With it, the team has the right tool available for any given situation with suppliers. So the response is that the director will aim for 10%, and this is aligned with the team. And I can explain to you what triggers this behavior change. The answer is the purchasing chessboard, of course. What you see here is the purchasing chessboard as you know it, of course. But the important aspect here are the squares highlighted in red. These are the ones that purchasing people typically use, and this is highly problematic. The obvious reason why this is not good is the simple count. Using just 11 out of 64 methods to reduce cost with suppliers certainly is not ideal. But the real problem goes much deeper. If you look closer, you will see that with the exception of one method, all the other squares are in the lower right quadrant of the chessboard. And this is where high demand power meets low supply power. This is a great position to be in, but in reality, it does not happen very often. Even big companies like car makers only really experience this when they award business to suppliers. But as soon as they have awarded to the supplier, they're pretty much stuck. Yes, you can switch the supplier between award and start of production at great effort and pain. And it is certainly not impossible to switch supplier during series production, and actually this is at the core of Ignacio Lopez's global sourcing. But it ties up a lot of resources and may cause all kinds of collateral damage, so it is mostly avoided. Traditional buyers who only operate with these 11 methods will not be very effective in their job. They will focus on the award of business to suppliers. This is when they feel strong. Suppliers will court them and the buyers will enjoy this. But in series production, it is an entirely different story. They are utterly powerless, so they will focus a lot of attention on negotiating internally by keeping expectation low. And we have seen this in the first example from the tech company. Buyers working with the purchasing chessboard approach things completely differently. The award will still be an important point in time for them, and they may even go beyond the chessboard and experiment with game theory. Suppliers in series production do not pose big challenges to these buyers. Yes, the supplier may jump upwards in the chessboard after SOP. So what? There are so many methods in the purchasing chessboard. If the buyer's company enjoys high demand power, they will deploy collaborative methods from the top right corner. Should they be in the uncomfortable position in the top left corner with low demand power, they will also be able to engineer their way out. And this is the real beauty of the purchasing chessboard. It reaches from low demand power all the way to high demand power, and it reaches from low supply power to high supply power. And if you really think about it, there's nothing beyond the purchasing chessboard. This is also the reason why the purchasing chessboard is timeless and will never be outdated. You just need to know how to work with it. And this is the purpose of the chessboard masterclass. Congratulations, you have completed the first session. Okay, now it is your turn. Reflect about how having a complete set of 64 methods to reduce cost with suppliers would make your job more exciting. How are you behaving in internal target negotiations today? And how would you behave if you were in full command of the 64 methods in the chessboard? Should you have any questions, let me know in the comments down below. And as usual, I promise to get back to you within 24 hours. Thank you for watching and I see you in the next one. Bye!